Revealed. How one millionaire's heartwarming choice led to a tragic loss of love and life. In the small town of Meridian, Mississippi, Jack Thompson was more than just the self-made millionaire everyone admired. He was a beacon of hope, embodying the American dream. With his hard work, he transformed not only his life but many others. His booming business provided employment, breathing new life into a community reeling from despair after a devastating flood. Jack poured millions into rebuilding, revitalizing local shops, and helping families recover. Yet, as he tirelessly chased his ambition, something precious slipped from his grasp: his love for Marissa. Marissa was his high school sweetheart, his first love. They shared dreams while swinging under the oak tree, with the Mississippi sun beaming down, painting promises of forever. But now she felt like a ghost. Jack was consumed by numbers and profits, drowning in his monumental success while Marissa faded into the background of his bustling life. Their once vibrant love was dimming into a distant memory, and the rift between them grew each day. When Marissa confronted Jack about his neglected dreams, the yoga studio she yearned to open, the community center she envisioned, his heart sank. "I'm trying to save our town, Marissa," he shouted, frustration breaking through. He couldn't see her pain amid his pursuit of success. But for Marissa, community dreams felt invisible against her own. And as resentment bubbled, love withered. The warmth of their bond turned to frost. The tension in their home grew prickly and raw. But then tragedy struck. Just when Meridian rallied for a miraculous recovery, Marissa was diagnosed with a critical illness. Jack felt his world shake. He had spent months nurturing a business while neglecting the love that once fueled him. Despair wrapped around him like a thick fog. Could he have done more? Was all the wealth in the world worth the quiet devastation in their hearts? Jack held Marissa's hand at the hospital, powerlessly watching the machines beep rhythmically. Regret clawed at him, sharp and relentless. He remembered their conversations, the laughter, the plans they made. He pictured her dreams slipping away. Every sleepless night spent building his empire haunted him as he realized success meant little without the profound connection they once had. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As tears streamed down Marissa's cheeks, Jack saw the fear that mirrored his. He realized their bond was the true measure of success. Every second felt like a countdown, and he had no way of knowing how many moments they had left. Standing at the crossroads of ambition and love, he was desperate to reach the other side. The weight of his choices pressed heavily, a storm brewing in his chest as the doctor entered the room. The air thickened with unspoken fears. Jack faced the choices he'd made, the relationship he'd neglected, and the possible loss looming large. Would he step back from the relentless chase for success? Would he finally find a way to rekindle the flame that had initially ignited his heart? Time was slipping like sand through his fingers, and with it, the hope of saving both his community and his greatest love. Would it be too late? The silence held a tension that could change everything. The doctor cleared his throat, glancing from Jack to Marissa with a look that spoke more than words ever could. "We need to discuss her treatment options and the risks involved." The clinical tone pierced the fragile bubble in which they were held, shattering it into countless shards of uncertainty. Jack felt like he had been punched in the gut. Each word was an echo of the decisions he had made. As he held Marissa's hand, he squeezed it tight, both an instinct to comfort and a desperate plea for the reality to shift. Marissa's gaze was glazed with fear, and it ignited a fierce protectiveness within him. He didn't want to lose her. He couldn't. "We can fight this, right?" Jack's voice cracked, the uncharacteristic vulnerability spilling out into the sterile air of the hospital room. "We can beat this together." Marissa nodded slowly, her spirit dwindling yet fighting to persist. "I want to believe that, Jack. But what if?" She glanced at the floor, the bleakness of their situation weighing her down. Her hesitance struck him like a heart-wrenching chord. What if the life they built was all for nothing? What if they had run out of time? Jack felt the chilling grasp of despair wrap tighter around his heart. He had all the wealth in the world, but none of it mattered in the face of this reality. "Let us do everything we can," he said, determination igniting in his chest. "We'll make it through this." The very mention of everything stirred something inside him. Suddenly, the projects that had filled his life before felt trivial. What mattered were the moments, the whispers shared over coffee, her laughter echoing through the halls of their home, the simple joys of shared sunsets. He could still feel the warmth of her touch, the softness of her breath next to him when they drifted to sleep. But while the love they once shared sparked in his mind, another realization struck him hard. His focus had been askew, his dreams had overshadowed hers. He had chased after prosperity while disregarding the dreams that made Marissa who she was. Regret was too small a word for the whirlwind of emotions crashing through him. "Jack," she said softly, breaking his train of thought, "you need to focus on your work too. The community know." He interrupted, urgency filling his voice. I can't just keep pretending I can have it all without you. I thought saving this town was the answer, but without you it means nothing." In that moment, the air between them shifted. It was no longer just about the illness that loomed. It was a realization that they had both lost their way. Jack was determined to fight for both, for her dreams and his, for the love that had once flourished. As he stood by her side, he made a silent promise. He would not let the mistake of his past define their future. He would build her yoga studio. He would help create that community center. He would make those dreams a reality together. But just as hope began to take root, the doctor's voice startled them back to the present. "We need to start treatment immediately. Each second counts." Jack felt the weight shift back to the moment's gravity. Would they survive this storm? Or was this truly the beginning of the end? Only time would tell, and as uncertainty loomed heavily over them, all Jack could think was, would love be enough to save them both? Jack's heart thundered in his chest as the doctor left them alone. The sterile room felt even colder now, as if the walls were closing in, draped in shadows of dread. He took a deep breath, trying to regain his composure. "Marissa," he said finally, breaking the heavy silence, "what do you want to do?" Her eyes met his, searching for something, the confidence perhaps that he didn't have. "I trust you to make the right decisions, but I wish I still felt strong about this," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. He hated the way fear clung to her words, hated that he felt so helpless to shield her. "You're stronger than you know," Jack urged, squeezing her hand again. "We'll figure this out together. Whatever you decide, I'm with you." A small smile flickered on her lips, fragile yet powerful. "That means everything to me, Jack." "But..." She trailed off, looking away again. The uncertainty had taken root in her heart, and he could see the struggle, fear grappling with hope. What if the treatment doesn't work? What if this time next year I'm not here? Her voice cracked and he gripped her hand tighter, as if that could anchor them both against the storm. "Then we will fight this every single day," he vowed, his stomach churning with every word. "We will make every moment count because every moment is worth it." "Even before this," she said slowly, hesitation lingering, "I felt like I was waiting for you to notice me again. I don't want to die thinking I waited far too long." The admission hung between them, sharp and painful. Jack's chest tightened as he searched her eyes, feeling the weight of all their unspoken words. "You were never second place, Marissa. I was lost in my own world, but not because of you. That's on me." Her gaze softened, but wounds ran deeper than just their silence. The stakes had escalated since he neglected her dreams. Now regret wrapped around him like an iron chain. He had a chance to change things starting now. "Let us start fresh," he suggested, the idea pouring out of him. "Let us make a schedule. Every day we set aside time for you. Let us plan your studio, work on the community center together. We can create something beautiful no matter what else is happening." Marissa's eyes widened with hope, a glimmer in that sea of uncertainty. "You really mean it?" "Yes. I want your dreams to come true. I want us to live fully no matter what. Starting today." "'Kay then." With a shared resolve, they began brainstorming ideas. Jack sketched rough plans for the yoga studio, feeling a spark ignite between them. Memories of long evenings spent laughing over absurd ideas flooded back, and just for a moment, he could forget the looming uncertainty. But as they argued playfully over color schemes, the moment twisted when a nurse entered the room, her expression serious. "I'm sorry to interrupt, But there's been a development with Marissa's test results. The doctor wants to speak with you both right away. A chill passed through him as dread clawed at his insides. Jack shared a quick glance with Marissa, who looked fragile yet resolute. The air felt charged as they followed the nurse steps heavy with impending news. What would the doctor say? The thought formed a knot in his stomach. Jack's heart raced over a possibility he dared not voice. Would this moment decide everything? He prayed it wouldn't break them. And with that hope flickering, carrying an unspoken question, they stepped into the unknown, uncertain of the storm awaiting them. The doctor stood waiting in the small conference room, his gaze serious, hands clasped together. Jack's heart sank deeper as he absorbed the somber atmosphere. Marissa stood beside him, her fingers interlocked with his, an anchor in a sea of fear. Thank you for coming, the doctor began, his voice steady but laced with gravity. I wish I had better news, but the results are not what we hoped for. Jack felt as if the world had tilted on its axis. The air was thick, every word weighing down on him as he tried to process it. He glanced at Marissa. Her face had turned pale, vulnerability etched in her features. What does this mean? She asked, her voice trembling slightly. It means the cancer is more aggressive than we anticipated, the doctor replied, his tone compassionate yet clinical. The treatment options we discussed are still available, but we need to act fast. We may need to consider alternative approaches. Jack's grip on Marissa tightened. How long do we have? The doctor hesitated, looking down briefly before meeting their eyes again. It's hard to say for certain, but I'm afraid you should prepare for a fight. I recommend we start treatment immediately. It will be rigorous. A wave of emotion hit Jack, a mix of frustration and desperation coursing through him. But what if it doesn't work? What if we just prolong the inevitable? Marissa whispered, her eyes locking onto his. We can't lose hope. We can't. The doctor added, it's essential to remain positive. Many patients find strength in the support of loved ones, and that's something you can both focus on, making every moment count together. Yeah, we will, Marissa's voice wavered but steadied. We will fight this. I don't want to give up. Jack's heart soared and sank simultaneously. He admired her tenacity, but doubt swirled within him. Marissa, we can't just leave things to chance. What if we find a way to celebrate life instead? She tilted her head, intrigued. What do you mean? Let us create a bucket list, he suggested, the idea unfurling like a banner of hope lifted in the wind. We go skydiving, visit that art festival you've always wanted to attend, or even just have late-night picnics under the stars. We need to make memories. Marissa's eyes sparkled with that familiar light again, a spark igniting within the darkness. I love that. That is a beautiful idea, Jack. The doctor smiled faintly. Finding joy amidst the struggle can indeed be powerful medicine. But you must also be vigilant with the treatments. This dual approach could help both your spirits and your body. Despite the impending storm above them, a thin thread of determination began to weave through Jack's heart. Maybe this was how they could reclaim their love, channeling it into living fully, rather than merely surviving. As they gathered their things to leave, Jack glanced at Marissa, her resilience shining through the cracks of fear. No matter what, I'm right beside you, he promised, feeling the weight of their journey ahead. What if we could make this journey our own? Marissa proposed, her eyes lighting up with possibility. With a smile trying to break through his uncertainty, Jack nodded. Let us show the world how love can conquer even the darkest trials. As they stepped out into the corridor, the stark fluorescent lights flickered above, casting an eerie glow around them. Each step felt heavier as the reality of their situation crept back in, but Jack held tight to Marissa's hand, ready for whatever came next, and just before they reached the elevator, a voice called out behind them, a name whispered in the air heavy with anticipation. It made them both turn, hearts racing with uncertainty about what was to unfold next. Marissa, wait. Marissa turned slowly, clutching Jack's hand a little tighter. The voice was familiar but caught her off guard. She felt a tightness in her chest, a familiar pulse of anxiety mixed with a flicker of hope. Dr. Bennett? She inquired as the tall man approached them, his expression a blend of concern and urgency. He had been her oncologist for months, but today, he seemed more unsettled than usual. Is everything okay? Jack asked, glancing at Marissa, uncertainty brewing in his gut. Dr. Bennett's brow furrowed. I wanted to discuss something with you before you leave. He paused, taking a moment to gather himself. It's about your treatment options, but it's important. Marissa sensed the weight of his words. What do you mean? I just received a call about a new clinical trial opening up. It focuses on targeting the tumor more aggressively than the current methods. I believe it could work well for your specific case. He glanced around, as if waiting for someone to overhear their conversation. Is that good? Jack asked cautiously. Yes, but Dr. Bennett hesitated, his eyes searching Marissa's face. It will require a significant commitment, and I need to be transparent. The side effects are intense. It could change the way you live your life day to day. Marissa's pulse quickened. I'm ready to fight. Whatever it takes. Jack's heart sunk again, battling the specter of fear. But what if? Jack, listen, Marissa interjected, her voice steadier than she felt. What if this is our chance? What if this could give us more time? Life is about risks. Dr. Bennett nodded, more assured now. This trial could offer you new hope. But I can't promise that it will be easy. We do need to start as soon as possible. Jack turned to face Marissa, searching her expression. He saw determination, but he also glimpsed the underlying fear. We can talk about it, consider all our options. We'll weigh the pros and cons. Marissa looked to Dr. Bennett and then back to Jack, weighing the gravity of each choice. The doctor said I should be careful, but if this could really help with the quiet hum of the hospital around them, the world outside seemed to fade. Then let us do it, she said, her voice fervent. We can figure it out together. Jack felt a rush of conflicting emotions, pride merging with dread. I'll support you no matter what, Marissa. You know that, right? Absolutely, she replied, a small smile forming at the corners of her mouth. And we'll keep adding to our bucket list. Every good day counts. Relief washed over him momentarily, but lurking beneath was a nagging sense of apprehension. They were stepping into unknown territory, and the stakes felt higher than ever. Dr. Bennett smiled, though a seriousness lingered in his gaze. I'll get everything set in motion. You'll be hearing from my office soon about the details. As he turned to leave, a sudden silence fell over Marissa and Jack. The corridors began to spin again, the fluorescent lights almost painful to look at. Jack shifted his weight, feeling the heaviness settle in the pit of his stomach. What if it's too much? Jack murmured once the doctor was out of earshot. What if don't? Marissa interrupted quietly but firmly. We're not going down that road. We'll focus on making memories. That's what's real and worth fighting for. But even as she spoke, doubt flitted through her mind. Was hope enough? Just then a nurse passed by, her face brightening. I heard about you too. Dr. Bennett mentioned your courage. It's inspiring. Marissa smiled at the nurse, but Jack caught the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. As they stepped back toward the elevator, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that this new path would stretch them in ways they hadn't imagined. What would they discover about love, and their limits in the fight ahead? And just as the elevator doors slid open, he proposed another possibility. What if we turned this trial into an adventure? Marissa's gaze drifted forward, captivated by the contemplation of what lay ahead. But would adventure be enough to carry them through? As they stepped into the elevator, Marissa pressed the button with determination, the quiet ding echoing in the small space. With every floor they passed, Jack felt his heart beat louder in his chest. He looked at Marissa, taking in her bright eyes, but also the slight tremor in her smile. What if we made our first bucket list item something truly unforgettable? Marissa suggested, a spark of enthusiasm breaking through the apprehension. Like that hot air balloon ride we always talked about. Jack nodded slowly. The thought of soaring high above the landscape, the wind in their hair, felt like an escape from their reality. Or going to that little cabin by the lake. We could even build a fire and roast marshmallows. Her smile widened, a glimpse of the carefree spirit he loved so much. I want to live, not just survive, Jack. This trial is going to be tough, but I refuse to let it define me. Let us make memories even if they have to be short. His heart ached. Could they really turn this struggle into something beautiful? We can do it, he assured her, though fear clawed at his throat. We'll capture every moment. Even the small ones. The elevator came to a stop, the doors sliding open to reveal the bustling hospital lobby. But it felt different now. Each face seemed to hold the weight of their stories, and Jack felt an unexpected kinship with strangers. Everyone was fighting their own battles as they ventured outside. Sunlight poured down, warm and inviting. The sky was a vibrant blue, a stark contrast to the sterile white of the hospital walls they had just left. Marissa took a deep breath, tilting her face towards the sun like a flower closing in at dusk. "Remember when we used to go on spontaneous road trips?" she mused, her voice soft but tinged with nostalgia. "Just you and me, no plans, just the open road." He recalled nights filled with laughter, the music blasting as they sped along winding highways. "I missed that. What if we planned a trip? Just us and the freedom to explore?" Marissa's eyes lit up. "Yes, we should go somewhere we've never been. Maybe the mountains or the beach, anywhere we can leave our worries behind, even for a little while." "Deal," Jack said, pulling her close. But beneath the thrill, he could feel anxiety pulsing at his temples. The reality of the treatment weighed heavily on his mind, casting a shadow over their dreams. As they walked hand in hand, laughter bubbled between them, but it danced on a surface of deeper emotions: fear, hope, love. Each day ahead felt uncertain, yet they could also choose how to embrace it. "Let us promise to check in with each other every day, okay?" Marissa said, surprising him with the suggestion. "It's going to be important. I need you to be my rock." "Always," Jack affirmed, squeezing her hand tighter. He could see a flicker of vulnerability in her eyes, a reminder of the battle ahead. Was he strong enough? But there was no denying their bond, the strength that arose from shared laughter, from little things like inside jokes and unexpected surprises. Those were the moments they had to cling to as they reached the parking lot. Jack noticed a colorful poster stuck to a nearby lamppost, announcing a summer festival with live music and local food. "Why don't we go to that next weekend?" he suggested, his heart warming at the idea of everyday joy. "It could lift our spirits." Marissa's face lit up, lighting up her features, transforming the shadows of doubt into rays of determination. "I'd love that. We can make it like a mini-adventure." "Exactly," he replied, excitement bubbling within him. At that moment every shadow seemed lighter, every burden more bearable. But as they got into the car, part of him still questioned their choices. Adventure was great, but would it be enough to face the hard days ahead? Would fun distract them from the truth looming over their heads? The car engine roared to life, and as they pulled away, Jack couldn't help but wonder, what would happen on this journey? Would they find moments of light amid darkness? And through it all, would they discover the depths of their own love, their own strength, in a way they never thought possible? The next week flew by in a whirlwind of anticipation. Jack and Marissa spent every free moment together, planning their mini-adventure to the summer festival. They talked late into the night, their conversations spiraling from their dreams to the reality they both faced. Jack marveled at how they could find joy in the simplest things, while the looming specter of uncertainty hovered over them. On the day of the festival, the sun shone brilliantly, wrapping them in a warm embrace as they stepped out of the car. Jack took a deep breath, the sweet scent of funnel cakes and popcorn filling the air, drawing them closer to the festivities. Marissa's laughter rang out, pure and unrestrained, as she pulled him toward the entrance, her spirit contagious. They wandered through the vibrant stalls, each one brimming with local crafts and delicious treats. Kids ran by with sticky hands, their faces painted in a riot of colors, and couples swayed gently to the rhythm of a live band. Jack couldn't help but smile at the scene before them. It felt like a different world, one removed from the sterile walls of the hospital. "Look, cotton candy!" Marissa exclaimed, her eyes wide with delight. She dashed toward the stall, her enthusiasm contagious. Jack followed, his heart warming at the sight of her childlike excitement. As she devoured the sugary fluff, Jack took a snapshot with his phone. "I have to remember this." The image of her carefree smile against a backdrop of fluttering festival flags filled him with a sense of peace. It was as if those fleeting moments were armor against the storm they faced. They meandered through the crowd, sharing funnel cakes and playful jokes. Marissa nudged him toward a tent showcasing local artists, pointing animatedly at a painting that captured a sunset over the mountains. "We should go there, Jack." Just imagine, each suggestion from her added fuel to his desire to explore, to escape, if only for that day. He felt lighter, the world outside felt manageable, But little did he know the weight they would bring home from this experience as they approached a nearby stage. The sound of a heartfelt ballad floated through the air. Together they found a spot on the grass, the sun beginning its descent behind them, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. As the music enveloped them, they held each other close. Lost in the moment, the weight of the world faded briefly. But soon, the inevitable tug of reality nipped at the edges of their joy. Marissa's health was a ticking clock, and every laugh felt bittersweet. Jack caught sight of the paper bracelet she wore. Another reminder of their hospital visits ahead. Hey, he started, unsure how to voice his thoughts, his heart suddenly heavy. I wish we could just stay here forever, you know? Marissa turned to him, her eyes searching his. We can't, but we can always hold on to these moments. They matter, Jack. This is what life is about. Her words resonated deep within him, a fire igniting against the chill of reality. With dusk settling in, they enjoyed a dance to the band's lively music, spinning and laughing, fully present in each other's embrace. They weren't just a couple facing a trial. They were two souls weaving love into the narrative of their lives. As they made their way back to the car, Jack felt a sense of both closure and anticipation. Today was amazing, he said softly, his hand brushing against hers. Tomorrow we'll plan our next adventure, Marissa replied, her smile warm against the cool evening air. But with the darkness creeping in, unspoken worries emerged. They would return to the reality of treatment, of fear lurking just beyond the horizon. Could they keep this momentum going amid the storms life would hurl their way? As the engine roared back to life, Jack glanced at Marissa beside him, uncertainty brewing in his mind. Would the strength of their love be enough to navigate the challenges ahead? No sooner did the thoughts surface than Marissa sighed, breaking the silence. Jack, do you think we can truly hold on to today? And while he wanted to say yes, something deep inside stirred, whispering of challenges yet unseen. The drive home was quiet, the air thick with unspoken feelings. The laughter from the festival still echoed in Jack's mind, even as he navigated the familiar streets, their glow dimmed by the encroaching shadows. Marissa sat beside him, her gaze fixed out the window, the vibrant colors of the festival now mere memories fading into the night. Jack? Her voice broke the silence, soft yet urgent. He turned to her, his heart thumping in anticipation. Do you ever think about what happens next? Not just tomorrow, but after all this? He hesitated. The future felt like a foggy path, and he wasn't ready to voice the dread creeping in. I try not to, he admitted, gripping the steering wheel a little tighter. It's hard to think about what's out there when we just had a day like today. Marissa nodded, looking down at her hands. Yeah, I get that. I sometimes wonder if I'm doing enough. Not just for me, but for you. For us. A lump formed in Jack's throat. Marissa, you're doing everything. Just being here like this. It means the world to me. He risked a glance at her. She looked fragile, illuminated by the streetlights, but there was also a fierce light in her eyes, a determination he admired. Okay, she said, her voice steadying. Let us make the most of our time, really live it. No holding back, all right? Promise, Jack replied, and he meant it. They pulled into his driveway, the familiar surroundings now feeling like a sanctuary and a prison all at once. After shutting off the car, he looked over at her. How about a movie night? We could grab those cheesy snacks you love? Her smile lit up the darkness. That sounds perfect. Her warmth enveloped him as they climbed out of the car, but a shadow loomed over the moment. The night was thick with uncertainty, but they could find solace in being together. Once inside, they curled up on the couch, the flickering screen casting soft shadows across their faces. As the movie played, a mindless comedy with plenty of laughs, Jack felt his mood lift, the heaviness momentarily forgotten. Marissa laughed at the right moments, nudging him playfully when a character stumbled. She radiated joy, and it was infectious. Yet the undercurrent of worry didn't fully dissipate. Jack caught himself stealing glances at Marissa when she wasn't looking, tracing the edges of her smile, the way her eyes sparkled despite the truth biting at them. He could only imagine what thoughts filled her mind during those quiet moments. Halfway through the film, she abruptly sat up, her expression serious. Jack, can you promise me something? Of course, he replied, shifting to face her, concern flooding in. If anything happens, if there's news or something that changes everything, promise you'll still keep going. Don't give up on your dreams. The weight of her request fell heavily around them. Marissa, I don't want to even think about that. Please, her voice trembled, and he could see the depth of her fear. I want you to have a life. I need that for you. You deserve happiness. He swallowed hard, the air thick with emotion. And you deserve to feel that happiness too. You are my happiness. For a moment they stared at each other. And in that silence, everything hung in the balance. She reached out, intertwining her fingers with his. Whatever happens, I want you to remember this, to hold on to us. Whatever the future brings. Just don't forget our adventures. Jack felt a tear sting his eye, a wave of fierce love crashing over him. Never. I won't ever forget you. As Marissa settled back against him, he wrapped his arm around her, holding her tightly. The shadows of reality loomed just outside their bubble, but in this moment there was hope, defiance against the coming storm. But as the credits rolled, a sharp ache in his chest warned him that hope wouldn't be enough. The uncertainty felt more real than ever, especially when the phone buzzed unexpectedly on the coffee table. Marissa's eyes widened as she glanced at the screen, the moment fraught with tension. What if it's the hospital? Jack's heart raced as he picked it up, fear curling in his gut. Could it be the call they both dreaded? What truths would the night reveal? Jack's fingers trembled as he stared at the buzzing phone, the bright screen illuminating the jagged edges of his anxiety. Every second felt stretched, the silence almost deafening. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. Do you want me to answer it? Marissa asked, leaning closer, her eyes wide with worry. Yeah. His voice was barely a whisper, thick with fear. He accepted the call, his heartbeat echoing in his ears like a drum. Hello? He said, bracing for whatever news awaited on the other end. Jack? A familiar voice came through, steady yet laced with urgency. It was Sarah from the hospital. Yes, Sarah, it's me. His stomach dropped. Can you come in? There's something we need to discuss. Is it about my dad? It's important. Jack glanced at Marissa, her brow furrowing, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. He nodded slightly, though he wasn't sure if she could see him. I'll be right there. As he hung up, wave after wave of dread washed over him. What's going on? Marissa asked, her voice trembling slightly. They want me to come to the hospital. What? Now? She sat up, her fear palpable. I don't know, Marissa. Could be bad. Then we should go. He met her gaze, her determination fueling him despite the darkness creeping through his mind. Okay. Moments later they rushed to his car, the evening air sharp against their skin. The night seemed darker, heavier, as he drove toward the hospital. Each red light felt like a reminder of the uncertainty that loomed. Jack, what do you think they want to tell you? Marissa broke the silence, and he could hear the hope flickering in her voice, even as it wavered. I don't know, but it can't be good. They wouldn't call me in like this. Not for good news. Marissa shifted in her seat, squeezing his hand tightly. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. He nodded, her strength grounding him, but deep down panic ripped through him. What if it was something life-altering? They arrived at the hospital, the harsh fluorescent lights stark against the darkness outside. Jack's heart pounded as they stepped inside, the familiar smell of antiseptic filling his lungs. Stay close, he said, leading her through the corridors, his grip on her hand firm. When they reached the nurse's station, anxiety surged. I'm here to see Sarah. She called me. A nurse nodded, directing them to a small conference room down the hall. The walls felt like they were closing in as they walked, each step heavy with dread. Entering the room, Jack's breath hitched at the sight. Sarah stood by a table, her expression solemn. Jack, thank you for coming. Where's my dad? The question slipped out, urgency bubbling beneath the surface. Please have a seat. Marissa's fingers tightened around his, and any notion of hope began to slip away. They sat across from her, the room feeling cold and sterile. I wish I had better news. Sarah hesitated, the weight of her words hovering in the air. Your father has taken a turn for the worse. Jack felt the ground crumble beneath him. How bad? His condition is critical. The world around him blurred, the edges of reality fading. He felt Marissa's hand squeeze tighter, but all he could think about was the future they barely discussed, now threatened by this sudden reality. What do you mean, critical? Jack pressed, urgency rushing through him. He's not responding to treatment. and we may need to discuss end-of-life options. End-of-life options. The phrase echoed like a death knell. He lost all sense of time, the words heavy in the air around them. Marissa's voice broke through. We'll figure this out. You're not alone. But the ache in his chest twisted painfully, and the reality settled like a dark cloud. How could he even begin to process this? As the conversation continued, Jack realized the life he envisioned, the one filled with dreams and laughter with Marissa, was about to change forever. Jack, are you okay? Her voice broke through the fog again. No, he whispered, tears pooling in his eyes, the weight of reality crashing down. And just as the storm inside him opened up, the phone buzzed in his pocket again. He pulled it out, hope flaring briefly. But when he saw the name on the screen, panic gripped him anew. Mom. What could she possibly want now? Jack's heart raced as he answered the call, dread tightening its grip. Mom? Jack, is everything all right? Her voice trembled on the other end, an echo of his own fears. I just heard about your father. He felt a wave of anguish wash over him. I'm at the hospital. I'm coming. Mom, you don't have to. It's not, but he knew she would come. She'd always come when it mattered most. He hung up, the weight of family ties intertwining with the pain he felt for Marissa, for his father, for everything that seemed to be slipping away. Marissa was still watching him, her presence grounding him in that chaotic moment. What did she say? She asked softly. Her eyes mirrored his pain, but the fierce light of determination flickered within them. She's on her way. I didn't want to get her involved, but his voice broke as the reality of what was happening washed over him. Jack, Marissa said, her hand reaching out to touch his face as if to infuse him with courage. Whatever happens, we'll face it together. You are not alone. Not now, not ever. Tears brimmed in his eyes as he held her gaze, each emotion crashing down like waves against a shore. Love, loss, panic. I can't lose my dad, Marissa. Not now. Not when I'm finally figuring things out. Her expression softened and she leaned closer, her forehead against his. I know, love, but don't lose sight of what we're fighting for. We still have our moments, our dreams. And then it hit him, a realization so fierce it felt like lightning. You're right, he exclaimed, his voice rising with newfound hope. This is why we need to create those memories now. With my father, with you. All of it. Marissa's eyes widened as a smile broke across her face. Exactly. Memories, experiences. It's not just about fighting, it's about living. Jack nodded, excitement flooding back in where despair had held court. We can share our bucket list with him. Maybe we can convince him to take that hot air balloon ride too. Just think about the stories we could share once he's feeling better. She added, her enthusiasm infectious. Just then the door swung open and Jack's mother rushed in, her eyes puffy and red. Jack, she called, wrapping him in a fierce embrace. With Marissa's arms still around him, the three of them formed an unexpected circle of strength. What do they say about your dad? She asked, breaking away but not releasing his hand. They said he's not responding to treatment. It's Jack swallowed hard, mustering the will to push through. They want us to talk about end-of-life options, but I can't bear it. His mother's face fell, grief flashing across her features. Oh, sweetie. Marissa squeezed his hand tighter. He's a fighter. He'll want to see everyone for what might be his last chance. And we can give him that hope by living fully. Don't you think? His mother looked at Marissa with a newfound admiration. Yes, her voice trembled. Let us do that. Let us give him the gift of memories. A flicker of determination ignited within Jack. We'll make it one last adventure. We'll fill his room with laughter and stories, just like we did when we were kids. Every day can be an adventure, Marissa said earnestly, her smile radiant. We can bring him our bucket list. Maybe he'll want to add to it. Jack nodded, his heart warming at the thought. Yes, hot air balloons, camping trips, everything we can think of. We can make it happen. In that moment, with dread still lurking in the corners of his mind, Jack felt hope shining brighter than ever. They pulled their heads together, united in a common purpose, ready to step into whatever came next, a shared strength against the storms of life. As they prepared to head to his father's room, Jack turned to Marissa. Thank you for reminding me what we're fighting for. She brushed her fingers against his cheek, her eyes radiant with love. Always. You're not alone in this. We've got each other. With their shared conviction, they stepped out of the conference room, a family bound by love, hope, and the promise of adventure. This was their moment, their choice. Every moment counted, no matter how tumultuous the tides ahead. And as Jack felt Marissa's warmth beside him, he knew love could light their way, even through the darkest nights. Jack's heart swelled with gratitude. This was it, the power of a united front against grief and uncertainty. Together they would create a tapestry of love, woven from the remnants of dreams, laughter, and cherished moments. In the tangled web of heartache and hope, they would find a way to emerge together, stronger than ever. Now it's your turn to remember the power of love, resilience, and community. Subscribe immediately to the channel, so you never miss exclusive stories like this one. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for stories that inspire hope. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about the ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformative journey. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. And don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of uplifting one another.